Getting ready to get this thing back cracking. Thank y'all for staying with us an additional hour tonight. Reunion requires a little bit more time because we have more people on the platform, and we always run into a time restraint when we're having great conversation. The wife kind of gets on me because I like to cut it off and try to keep it as close to an hour because research says that people lose attention span after then. But so we're going into hour 2. And we kind of left off with us talking about the difference in threesomes and is that where we left off at now?
Yes.
Where we were talking about the difference of a train and a threesome, and there was some debate about that. And so we can just pick it up right back there if somebody wants to go jump in and start there. We were just talking about the difference of a guy. I think Terra was saying guys can't handle it, and so if you want to just jump back in and start there, what?
So I think where we started off is that bitch is a double standard. So we had a couple of people that were saying that if there is a man saying if you want a threesome, they automatically assume it's going to be with another woman. However, there are some women that want to have a threesome with 2 guys, right?
Right.
So it's a double standard because you guys were saying we don't want
It's
that.
cool to have a threesome with a woman, but we don't picture that woman as being our woman. Does that make sense?
Are you saying with another guy?
Yeah, right. Correct. Like, it's cool if I don't see no intentions of me and you ever being together, and you want a threesome with 2 guys, and I got a partner, and we leave the club, and I got a chick. Hey, we gonna bang her. Like, okay, you
Vice versa.
kind of like number saying, like, you're not gonna never make it to the mama house. You know what I mean?
So you would give a woman a threesome with another guy if she's not your girl. You just knocking her down, you cool with it.
Yes.
So then why would you just be so open with being another woman? You just if that's your wife or your girlfriend or
Because it's more pleasure for her
Period.
with another
it's more
woman.
pleasure for her with 2 men too.
Okay, but it's more okay. So it's more pleasure for us.
No,
with
because
another
let me
woman.
just keep it real, because in our mind you a hoe if you want. I'm just telling you in our mind, and you can't say our truth. In our mind, if you want 2 dudes to slam you a hoe.
And in my mind, when you want
Go ahead, you gotta get
2
close to the
women,
mic. Close to the mic.
and in my mind, if you want 2 women, you're a hoe. So I'm gonna set you out.
and that's why this platform is so cool. And that's why this platform is so cool because we have difference of opinion, and we can have a different opinion and agree that our opinions are just different.
Now, some of my partners, so I can say I can kind of disagree when I say that just because you want 2 men to a hoe. I can say that just you want 2 men to be a freak, but I don't want my wife I don't want for you to be my wife and knowing that my partner is gonna be in my wedding and put his thing in you too.
So then
And I don't want my man to have
you
his mouth on another bitch pussy.
And then don't bring him to
I mean,
the
but
party.
it's really just
I don't want
hard,
her feeling like you make me feel.
Well, okay, so when it comes, okay, so when it comes to me, you, and another woman, I feel like we need to have rules. Like, okay, baby, listen, I'm not gonna suck a pussy. I'm not gonna do this to her.
Then it's not a threesome.
And then it's not a
Well,
You're not my man.
it's a
And I got
borderline.
a threesome with you. Either way, boy, 2 dudes and a
But
female,
how
2
are we
girls.
go-
You ain't my man. I'm a freak.
Okay,
We don't freak
but
each other.
if you my woman,
If I'm your woman, I'm not doing a threesome with a male or female.
but
If
you
I'm
said
your
that you would.
No, I
prior
did
on
not.
occasion.
All I kept saying was my man, I'm not sharing. And my man is not sharing me. That is what I said.
You
Please,
said that you
yeah,
want
I'ma
2
set
men, you
my
want
freaks
one
out,
person
male or
running your
female.
mouth.
That's what
I'm
she said.
setting you out. That's what I
And
said.
what she said?
No, what she said was, I'm not going to have a threesome with my man. She said, I will have a threesome with somebody I'm just messing around with. But I'm not going to have a threesome with somebody that I call my dude that I'm in love with a man or woman.
Okay,
I said because I tried that. I tried it.
With 2 men, 30, 40 years old, how do I call a 30, 40-year-old to come have sex with another woman?
Baby, come fuck my mouth.
Well, I'm saying, how do I call my partner?
How do you
With another woman?
Come on over, partner. It's a big booty freak over here. And he shows up. Y'all stop trying to act like
No,
you
we
ain't.
can't. It's hard calling. I mean, we're not young no more. We grown.
Guess what? And with that,
So
you
I
ain't
gotta
even
call
gotta have a
another grown
conversation.
man and say,
We had a kickback, everybody falling out. We just
no, I'm gonna handle it.
who gonna start what? Cause somebody gonna start it. And I'll be there to go finish.
That's how it works.
She like
That's how it works.
last.
No, I'm like,
Yeah.
I think just like you niggas, so I just feel like that's why I'm a perfect person for this panel. I think like
Yeah, you're right. That's why you on the single show. That's exactly
And I'm
why.
single, and guess what?
You on the
I
single
got
show.
single and keep fucking everybody else, man. And yeah, we did have a conversation
else,
about that
right?
last time about karma. But guess what? What did single lower women ever do to deserve to be cheated up on? It ain't no karma to come with it. Guess
So
what?
So
I
you
say,
rather fuck somebody than a man?
that's so nasty.
So that's
Other
not,
people
Why you look at me like
nasty
that?
too.
what I said, that's not what we said. What you and I talked about is, at the end of the podcast show that you were on, you first started off talking about your guy. Then you said that, you know, and it was our comments were going crazy because you said you don't have no problem sleeping with somebody else's man.
They don't have no problem sleeping with mine.
Exactly, and there ain't no karma
What I
because you can be
said
the
to
fakiest
you
girl in the world
Is
and
if
get
you're,
cheated on.
Facts.
With me.
But why do you get mercy on somebody else? Let me just say something. Y'all bitches don't be having no mercy for nobody. Y'all have no loyalty. Y'all have no
Period.
respect.
so what I said is, how you expect God to send you your own?
Let
I
me
mean,
just
wait
say
a
this.
minute. If he send it, he send it. If he don't, he don't. Because one thing I do believe in God is that what's for me, don't be for me.
Amen,
Nobody
amen.
come to me, wanting me
Not
and
everybody.
all my
That's why
flaws.
we have the issue with. That's why we have the issue. I have the issue with these bitches be you know backdooring and sleeping with your nigga and shit, but then they be praying and God send them a good man. Like, bitch, on some real shit. If I just wasn't on some, I done changed my life. But I really be wanting to get with these, especially these hoes that done fucked on my husband. Like I really be wanting to just find these niggas y'all be fucking with, just fuck on them just because y'all just kind of been over with me. Because I ain't never been no secrets. Let me just say that for the record. I ain't never been no secret.
Let me just say that for the record.
Motherfuckers been knowing that, you know, I'm his wife. So what I have a problem with is, and understand this, I ain't never not checked no bitch and ain't checked Brian too. He gonna get, you gonna understand, so people be thinking because I decided to stay with him after his infidelities that I got issues with these bitches and don't have no issues with him. Oh yeah, he had repercussions behind this shit as well. But I really be wanting to get these bitches that have been fucked on my husband and really be kind of just be on some slick shit with y'all and mess with y'all niggas because y'all, it's like I'm an eye for eye,
You wanna
tooth
get
for
back?
tooth.
You
Like,
wanna get back?
I ain't for no, I forgive you and see your ass in dealers and speak, bitch. I'll come behind you and be on some different shit with you because I ain't never been no secret to nobody. You know, I always knew about me. So I really been just kind of laying low, just letting y'all have this shit because me and my husband on some different stuff. But yeah, I really do be wanting to just kind of be on some good shit
And I
with these
even
bitches for
agree with you
real.
on that. Like,
Okay.
you know, the last,
Pray for me.
Boy, oh my God, damn.
the last
Woo!
show, you know, they had when Level interviewed us and we talked later, and you know, and I said, you know, I asked the bitch, are you fucking on my nigga? I wanted to know because he lying.
So you wanna open that
bitch,
thing up?
I'm gonna ask you fucking on my nigga because you knew about me, and that nigga knew because the nigga went public with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I ain't making this shit up.
Okay. That's, so are we talking about that dumb or no?
Yeah, just open it
No,
up.
I'm asking
Yeah.
dumb.
She
I
said,
be
yeah.
talking
Because
about
we
it.
had a conversation off camera. So what you said that wherever you see the bitch.
Man, I'm gonna fuck her up.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna
what I
always
asked
on
you.
site.
Okay,
And what
so
did
this,
I
this
say?
is what I asked you.
What you
I
say?
asked you.
I said,
why
don't
you
put your
fuck
hand
up?
on that bitch before
Oh,
you
Because,
on that bitch.
because I told you it's the disrespect because I asked you and then you came back with some smart ass shit because I wanted to slap fire from his motherfucking ass, but he
Right.
wouldn't come over there. And I couldn't address him, but when I see you because I came to you and I was, you know, I'm just asking you, you know, like, hey, because he's saying that this is not what it is, and you in the setting with some of my good friends come out, you didn't give him a key and shit, so I want to see what's going on.
She had
That's
enough
not what you said. So
respect
what
for
you
you
said
to
was
tell
when you
the
asked
truth
the
in
girl,
your man
she got smart with you. That's what you
The
wanted.
bitch mouth was a little too fly.
So she said, yeah, I'm fucking. So tell me, she said, yeah, I'm fucking, and so what? And so what I asked you is, did you expect her to be like,
I wanted the bitch to be honest, but she could have said, well, yes. She could have said yes, but you know what I'm saying? He said he was single. I said, you know what? She was like, yeah, and why? You got smart with me. Bitch, so I'm gonna choke the shit out of you when I see you. It's
we got a lot of
on
violence going on in this
Yeah,
show. So
I'm
listen,
kidding.
we have to learn how to kumbaya.
No.
Oh, let me make this clear.
Because if y'all know a nigga that we fuck, are you gonna
I
kumbaya?
can't hear you guys.
No.
Stay on mic now.
So if I fuck the nigga and you want for sure because women we way sneakier than y'all, so don't even, you know what I'm saying? Hey,
Listen,
we
if you gave the pussy, I can't whoop the nigga because you gave the pussy away. He didn't
y'all
take
be
no
wanna
pussy.
tear the nigga ass up,
Come on,
stop
man.
playing.
I can't whoop
I'm
the
real.
nigga.
I'm
I'm listen.
It
You can't
sounds
whoop the
good.
nigga
If you
because
gave-
you're
if he
weak.
didn't take no
That's the
pussy,
only reason you ain't bringing no beef
It
to a
sounds
nigga.
good.
I'm gonna tell you, I was around my ex, okay? We ain't together. A motherfucker picked me up, he pulled his pistol on me.
Mm.
He pulled up, he said, you touch her again, I'll shoot the shit out of you.
Mm.
And we wasn't even together. So
Mm.
don't tell me what y'all wanna do, because it's
It
real.
sounds good.
Mm.
Even after the fact.
It sounds good. Listen.
Preach, sister, but let me
You
clarify one thing.
cannot tell me not to reach out to some bitch you fucking because you on some lying shit.
You talking about
Then when I
something
reach
that
out,
says
no, that's what she said.
No, we're
Nah,
saying physical.
That's,
What I'm saying.
let me get to my point. My
My-
point is, you cannot tell me that I can't reach out to a bitch you fucking because you on some lying shit. Then I want to whoop her because she on some disrespectful shit. And then say, if I'm, because you get a pussy away, I can't say nothing to that nigga. But you gonna say something to that nigga, so
No, I would never
it
say
be
that.
sounding good for the camera.
So
But
this is
understand-
why guys don't talk.
Guys don't talk because y'all be trying to make y'all stuff
We
like
don't
shit. Y'all
talk
bullshit.
because you don't understand and you won't respect
All
somebody
I'm
else.
saying is this.
All right, I'm gonna let y'all talk.
All I'm saying, turn your mic off.
Let's
All
go.
I'm saying is
Okay.
this. If you tell me the truth when I ask you, I don't have to reach out to this bitch to ask her nothing because here's what you gotta understand. It'd be a whole different thing if I'm a secret around this bitch and you don't know nothing about me. That's a whole different conversation. But first of all, I always tell you, these niggas like, listen, the first thing a woman wanna say is, check your nigga, don't check me. Bitch, I'm only checking you because you know about me. You know, so you ain't even gotta be my friend. But understand this, y'all be thinking that because we stay with these niggas, they don't have no consequences. But with me, you gonna get some consequences behind that shit. So please don't feel like because I decide to stay with a nigga and work some shit out and be focused on that shit, that he ain't dealing with no shit. Bitch, both of y'all gonna deal with it. He gonna get some consequences and you gonna get some too.
And
All
that's
I'm
the way I
saying
feel
is,
also.
if you don't, all I'm saying to that is this. Don't give me a reason to reach out to the bitch. Just be like, yeah, I'm fucking her. Or whatever, and let's deal with that shit. But if you be on some real shit, I ain't got no reason to reach out to no other bitch. If you just tell me what the fuck is going on, I ain't gotta reach out to no bitch to ask her if she fucking on you. And then this little bitch get on some disrespectful shit because disrespect goes both ways. You only have a problem, which Dominique is saying. I only got a problem with the girl, not because she was fucking my nigga, because my nigga owe me that loyalty, she don't.
Exactly.
I got a problem with the hoe because she was on some disrespectful shit and she knew that was my nigga. That's why that's a
So
problem.
what is whooping the come do?
She ain't whooping him.
What? I can say I'm gonna whoop her, but I will slap, I will reach down to my motherfucking ankles and slap the shit out of her.
So
That ain't
my
good.
question to you
You gotta
guys,
whoop
to you and to that.
If you touch him, you gotta move.
My question to
Don't
you
have
is,
you to
what
die.
is that gonna do when you whoop her?
Listen, you gotta understand.
She taking back
You
some of her power.
and you a man, so you just
Y'all
don't, you just
take
don't
that
get
shit,
it.
fuck.
They just sit and fuck.
It
So
don't
what
matter.
is gonna do when you whoop her?
Same thing you do when you text a nigga and be like, stop fucking with my wife. Don't fuck on my wife. Don't talk to my wife. It's the same shit. It sets the same precedence. It let a motherfucker know don't come around here playing these games with me. And that's what I have a problem with these bitches in Central Arkansas. Y'all be getting these bitches passes and shit, so they feel like they can do that with anybody. And you gotta understand when you run up on me, I ain't giving you no pass. I don't do passes. We ain't in school. This ain't no hall pass shit. So y'all be thinking that you got too much to lose and don't touch the bitch. No, because you gotta understand when you come around my way, it's a whole different conversation. Or you gonna be on some whole different shit. So whooping up just make me feel better.
And
I
let
ain't
me
even
just
gonna
say
whoop
that
it,
I
stop
have
it.
never slept with anybody man that I know. Have I slept with men and found out they was with girls? Yes, but they are not with anyone that I know, friend or friend or associate or none of the above. And then let me say this: if I do fuck your man, start swinging before you see me, because this is a battle. I will fuck your man and beat your ass. So
It's double
get
jeopardy.
it
It's double jeopardy.
have it together.
Listen,
Okay?
all I'm saying is, Dominique, when you explain the situation, what I did say was, which is the truth. All I ask is that you hold the dude accountable in the same way as you hold her accountable. So, because
Whoop both of them, what you saying?
Right,
so
well,
you
you
gotta
know,
do something. Somebody got to
Because you can't be so upset
you
with
know,
her and not
I'm
me.
gonna say this, I'm changed. I don't physically put my hands on anybody. I
But you got a home girl that'll do it for you.
Level the bun might still work.
Period.
I
Don't
don't
be
be put my
acting
hands
like
on my mama, because especially that man, because I don't want him to put his hands on me, because then I'm gonna shoot his ass.
He won't. That's why you go hard from the beginning.
All I'm saying is, just,
Did you?
I know someone, I feel like if you know that, if a woman come to you and you know the truth to it, just be one enough to say yes, you know what I'm saying? He said he wasn't with you, and this is what we've been doing. And a woman can respect you more, but when you come on that smart shit, like you asking for an ass because bitch your mouth too fly and you didn't wrote a check that your ass can't cash.
It go back to what I said. Be able to fight if you approach me about your man, my man,
Me too,
any
that's what I
man,
say.
any friend. Because just be ready for how I respond to it. It's just gonna be how I respond to it. I will fuck your man and beat your ass when you ask me about it.
People ain't just taking no ass whooping.
You ain't gotta take it, but you gon' get it
by any
around.
means.
I don't give a fuck about what you gonna take. Listen, my mama told me when you get into a fight, this is my honor and I keep this shit in my head. My mama told me when you get into a fight, only two things gonna happen.
Right.
You gonna either whoop your ass or they gonna whoop your. It don't matter, but you gonna see me.
You let me tell you, I have never in my life fought over a man. Yeah, females can approach me and I may have to beat their ass. I'm not proud of it now. Having to fuck your man and beat your ass now. I'm not bragging because I'm not proud of it.
Right.
But what I will say is that know what you're dealing with. Any man that I have to put if I have to put my hands on a female because of a man, I promise you that man will see me first.
That's for sure.
He gonna see me eventually in the same manner that it's not gonna be no excuses. It's not gonna be none of that. I have dealt with somebody and I have friends that slept with my ex and we can talk about it only because of the type of people that we are.
That's for sure.
You know, it's because of who we are that we can sit back and talk about it now.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes, I was hurt about it, but at the same time, I gotta respect you for your position.
But just don't say, so to those women that's watching, just don't say, I've seen a meme going around that says that if a man is cheating, they always stay with the weaker one.
That's true.
That's not true.
That's not true.
They stay with the one that's gonna keep taking them back. I believe that.
I've heard people, and that's first of all, that's dumb as fuck to me. But you gotta understand that because people don't just publicly speak on shit that happens, like, honestly, I don't know about anybody else, but I speak on mine. Like, don't feel that I'm just gonna easily forgive this motherfucker to the right of me and I'm still wanting to put my
If
hands
he fuck
on
you
you.
good,
Like, you
you
got
forget.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
That's a lot of women
No,
now.
ma'am.
And that goes back to
That's
toxic
that's all I'm
relationships.
saying.
Too. Some
That's
men,
that
that's all they know how to
desperate
do
shit.
is
But
keep
that's that
women
desperate
fighting.
shit. Listen, there are many. I ain't no desperate ass woman, and so I have so much more going for me outside of my physical attributes. I have a lot going to me where I ain't just gotta be fuck good and shut the fuck up.
Right.
Like,
You're the best fit for the job.
and understand that, you have to, all I'm saying to that is that don't feel like because a motherfucker decides to work on their marriage and or relationship, that they just weak because this motherfucker been on some fuck shit. Like, just because we don't publicly talk about what he had to endure on his behalf and what I had to endure on my behalf doesn't mean that then shit happened. Shit happened. So understand that. But at the same token, what I'm trying to get him to understand as it relates to your situation, Dominique, is it's more or less about just some respect type shit. Like, you cannot as a woman be on some, I know this your nigga and you fucking with this nigga and you come fuck with this nigga and expect her not to be nothing behind dealing with me. However, I'm also not gonna let this nigga go scot-free and I'm not saying do nothing.
But just like you said, when there's not a communication, you don't know what he's telling that woman. I can see that man with you every day, and when he come with me, I know the time he's spending with me. I was in a relationship. This man told this one that he was working overnight because he never missed a night in my house, okay? And it's a whole baby mama. They had real history together. I'm asking her, how do you think this your man and he ain't miss a night here because I don't allow it? Once you fuck with me, you kind of stuck with me. So he didn't, and we was going back and forth like, oh, he my man, oh, he my man. Bitch, she can't show baby daddy. When do you see him? But it was again. I had to sit back and take some time to myself to see. She don't even know what he's told her.
No, that's not true. Let me just say
That's because you can be with somebody every day and y'all not define the relationship.
But people only believe what's told them because that's what they want to believe.
That's true too.
Motherfuckers believe what a motherfucker tell them because that's what they want to do. They want to feel like you're going to leave your wife. They want to feel like you're going to leave your husband. They want to feel like me and her ain't on good terms. They want to believe that shit because in some part of their mind, they feel like they have a chance and an opportunity.
That too.
Ain't no way no motherfucker can go.
So
Listen,
who's to blame
you
though?
cannot tell me that. You can't tell me that you don't want to be with this person. You falling out of love, but you going home to them every night.
You
Nigga,
gotta be smart.
this is your opportunity to
If
pack
you know-
your shit. So what you mean that we're not in love no more, or we're having problems, but you're going home every night? When you have an opportunity to spend a night with me, you have an opportunity to pack your shit and leave. That's dumb shit that people, they program in their minds to believe the shit what a motherfucker saying because that's what they really want it to be. That's dumb as fuck because listen, I ain't always been no angel. I done messed with bitches, men and shit, and husbands, one baby. I done met with people, whatever. But at the same token, I knew what he
How many?
That ain't the point. She really saying.
all I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even like I'm no angel because I done that shit. But a motherfucker couldn't feed me nothing that I didn't want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Like a motherfucker couldn't tell me no shit, and I'd be like, really?
So who's to blame?
Who's to blame for what?
Who's to blame?
I think we
Is
gotta
it
go
the
right
woman
to
for
my-
is it the woman for believing his lies when she only wanna believe her man?
That ain't her man though. You can't listen. That ain't you. You know who's to blame? She is to blame. Because let me just say this.
But not him for telling a lie.
That's a lie. That's what niggas do. That's what. Listen, and I don't understand it because you ain't got to lie. Pillow talk to get in the draw.
Right, if you gotta be so, you gotta be. I'ma fuck you if I want to anyway.
And my
Tell
point
me
is
the
that.
truth.
My point is that.
Now you
Brian.
got up and turned
My
on.
point is that listen, I said that on the podcast when there was this bun Kane, and I said, listen, if a motherfucker wanna fuck with you, rock with you, screw on you, whatever, it doesn't matter what you tell them, they gonna do it anyway. But all I tell motherfuckers is don't make that decision for me. See, when you make the decision for me to decide if I want you to be on some cheating shit, see now you gotta deal with me because you're trying to make a decision for me you didn't allow me to make for myself. Let me decide if I want you to, if you want to have an open relationship for a year.
Right,
Let
it
me
goes
decide.
back to protect my feelings.
Yeah,
Me
let me
being
decide. You don't get a
protected.
chance to make that decision for me. So yes, the woman is to blame for believing that bullshit. Cause how do you not? Especially for a motherfucker you got feelings for.
Right, and let's normalize men telling the truth and being the protectors that you're supposed to
So
be.
you know,
Because you're damaging
so
a
listening to
woman
you guys-
when you tell all those lies. You really are.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
damaging her.
Listening to you guys, and
But
I know
then
all
she
of the,
crazy.
I know all of the women, the guys across the world. We get blamed for anything. We're the fuck ups. Y'all can sit here and have a conversation, and it's all us. And that's another reason why guys don't sit down and have conversations with y'all. Is because you're not gonna win the conversation anyway.
I feel like men just never take accountability. Say that I was wrong, or that I honestly feel like I don't want to see you with another man. I don't want no open relationship. Men only come to you on a relationship tip because they don't want to share you no way.
That's true.
All right, what's
Okay,
that?
we know it's women out here who fuck up because I know a lot of good men out here who have been fucked over by some weak ass women who couldn't understand what they
Don't
had.
call them weak sis.
No, that should be weak.
Well, call them men weak.
They be weak too, but
Okay.
bitches be weak. We
Well,
not gonna sit
well,
up here and act like it's
Y'all
women
like
out
y'all
here
was
who
born
don't-
strong. Like y'all.
So we only strong because of what you put us through. Is that what you about to say?
What I'm saying is there are women out here who do mess up on good men.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so those good men feel like by the time they do get to a good woman, they're so damaged. It's the vice versa with a woman and a man. By the time they get to the person who loves them, they don't know how to accept it.
Right.
Totally fucking true.
So let's move to another topic that we talked about in season 1. Everybody on the podcast have kids. How do you guys feel about your mate disciplining your shit?
No, none of that.
I will beat your ass if you touch my child.
She's a pretty girl.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb.
Tell me why.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because he's stupid.
And the discipline doesn't have to be physical.
I mean,
Oh,
okay.
It don't have to be physical. It don't have to be physical.
Okay, well I thought you were talking about physical.
No, we don't have to be
Oh,
physical.
okay, yeah.
Tell them
No,
right from
listen.
wrong.
I'm gonna tell you, we have to be If we're not married, we not have to be damn near engaged for you to even just, you know, it can't be no, you know, we in a relationship. No,
Yeah.
we have to at least be married. I mean, I just can't see. Call me, let me know. I know, you know. I'm let me know. Just don't handle it by yourself and then come to the point. Especially if we're not married. If we're married, handle
if
your
you're
business.
serious- what if you're
And then when I
serious?
get home, I'm handling it too.
So if you're engaged and you're serious, you move into marriage, would you be comfortable with it then if you're
Yeah.
engaged?
Shit, yeah.
Okay, alright. Donna?
Hell yeah.
Like I said before, you know, my kids have a father, and we discipline them, but if I'm with a mate, he's welcome, he can redirect them. But I don't just want a stepfather to come in and just beat their ass, and you know what I'm saying, being all physical, but you pulling them to the side and having a man conversation, man talking to a young boy, cause I have 2 boys.
Okay.
So, you know, I don't want a man to come in and then they grow up to hate their mom because I'm letting this man just beat his ass every time he feel like they've done something wrong. I think it should be a conversation with the mates.
Okay, alright. T?
I agree with that. Physically, no. Just, you know, the daddies can't even whoop my kids.
Married or not?
Mama, I'm the only one that's allowed to physically discipline my children.
So if you're
Can
married to
we-
somebody and he's providing for them, he still can't,
He can let me know, and we can have a conversation, and we'll move on from there. Physically discipline a child.
Put it better on.
I have all authority with that.
You can
My
discipline.
kid's father cannot even discipline my child. It's gonna be a problem. When he discipline him, I'm gonna discipline him. It's my way. Alpha
Your
female.
kid's father can't discipline
No.
your kids with.
No,
No, I'm talking about their biological father.
no,
okay.
no.
Bond, on you.
Oh,
Talk to me.
me personally, is if I'm in my child's life, I don't need you to raise my child. I got that.
Okay.
Alright, so if my baby mama is with another guy and my daughter or son did something, I don't need you to put your hands on her. I need you to say, hey, I'm gonna call your mama, or hey, I just don't want another guy, because he's not gonna whoop my son or my daughter like he probably whoop them a little bit harder.
How do you know
That, but what, hold on,
This is problem.
this is what I'm saying. If I'm in his life, or if I'm in my child's life, I don't need another man disciplining my child.
I don't think that matters.
Okay, but I'm telling you me, I'm not telling you you.
Here's the thing, what
Okay.
I'm saying to that is that,
Can I finish?
go ahead, 'cause I have a long
Okay.
standing, I have a long
Okay,
description.
so this is what I'm saying. If I'm not in my child's life, if I'm dead or I'm a deadbeat daddy, then
Yeah.
who gives a fuck who disciplines the child? I'm not in their life no way. This is me, sis. Everybody is different.
Just say I'm
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. If I'm in my child's life, I don't need another man trying to tell my son how to be a man.
But it takes a village.
That's my son. Let me raise my son. Just cause me and his mama didn't work out, doesn't mean that I can't raise my son.
Alright, let me go.
I don't need another mother.
I agree with you.
I don't need another man to raise my son.
I just feel like
Let me
you
go to the
need
comments.
No,
We
just
haven't-
cause me and you didn't work out, nigga,
Hold on,
that
bro.
don't mean I can't raise
So let
my
me go to
son.
Facebook comments because we haven't said anything to these people in a while. So Kim Millerich says society has gotten so used to putting labels on what women to do or what's for women to do and what's for men only. Joy laughing emotion says right, Shanetta. I think she was talking about these tricks out here. Monica said you ladies better speak on that. She said these niggas out here really living the lies for real, sis. Been there, done that. Antonio says facts. So everybody's trying to get one up on another. Antonio expounds and know what you're talking about. Denisha said she's enjoying the podcast. She's loving the podcast. Thank you, Denisha, so much. Antonio said, Antonio, you can't tell us how to run out loud. I mean, our podcast. I mean, y'all got to keep talking to the people, not just a circle combo. Boy, you can't tell us how to run out loud. Anyway, he says what, and then hand up his information. So anyway, let me just say this. And everybody has a different way of doing things, and you have to just kind of you have to agree to disagree. But the kids inside the home can't get positive attributes from somebody else outside of their parents, but not the negative attributes. That comes hand in hand. So when I say that, I mean you can't have the stepdaddy buying for the kids, giving them chocolate,
They can't tell
picking
them
them up from
that's
school, buying them new Jordans, but they can't tell them when they've done something wrong. And so what that does is that now every time if you allow that to happen into your ex's household, what then happens to that is that every time some shit happens, I'm gonna call my daddy. I'm gonna call, and you can't come in that woman's house and tell her what to do with her
That's the
kids or
opposite
her
of what he said.
children.
Let us speak first. Go ahead, Susan.
So you can't come into her home and then because your child says because here's the thing, you can be an active parent without being in the household. You don't have to be in the household to be an active parent. You also don't want because for me that teaches your kids how to be disrespectful to another adult.
Amen. Yes, it
And
does.
you're gonna respect adults. You can't just respect adults when they're doing something conducive for you. They can't just not respect them when they're telling you something that's right or wrong. Because then at that point that becomes being used and nobody wants to feel used. And here's the thing, you're not gonna be in the house every day with the kids. And you're an active father, but you're not gonna be there every day when things are happening and take place. So yes, be active, be an awesome father, but you also don't want to make your kids believe and program to, I don't have to listen to you because you're not my daddy, and I'm gonna call my daddy because that's disrespectful. So, and I just don't want kids to be taught disrespect, just being on some disrespectful shit.
Okay,
See, now
sis.
for your mom, and I'm gonna choke your ass.
Okay, now sis, I don't, with my situation, I don't ask him to do anything. That's not his responsibility to take care of my kids. I don't need you to buy him no jewelry. I don't need you to buy him no clothes. That's my job.
That's material. That's material
Now,
too.
please
That's material.
speak. I don't need no another man to take care of my kids as long as I'm living. If I'm an active father, I don't need you to do nothing. I need you to take care of her because you married her, so you do whatever you want to do with her. Okay, that's fine. I don't need you to take because I'm an active father. My son live with me and I still pay child support.
But it's a broken home.
But it's not, I don't give a fuck what she do. Or him. That's my son. Or that's my daughter. I don't need you taking care of my daughter. If my son or daughter do something in school, I don't need you to go to the school. I don't need you to be on the fucking call log. They can call me. I don't need you to discipline my son and tell my son what he did and what he didn't do wrong.
Or not.
That's
If
my
I'm
fucking
with
job.
someone and stepmama me, okay, because I ain't having no more. I'm gonna buy your kids just as much as I buy
I don't
mine.
need you to buy my son
Exactly.
shit.
It's not that you need me to do it.
Okay,
it's that
but
I'm
don't do
willing
it.
to do it.
Okay, and
It's
I
not
thank you
me.
for that,
Come on,
but
TT.
spend your
It's
money on
extra.
something else.
It is
But
extra. Like
I'm
I'm
telling
an
you,
extra
I'm there
parent.
for
I'm
mine.
a bonus.
Okay,
parent.
but
here's the thing,
TT, I don't need
Talking
you
to
to
my
do
mom.
it.
you being there for your kids doesn't negate somebody else being there for them.
And I
Here's the
respect
thing,
that.
Here's what you gotta understand.
Okay.
Not that I wish anything ill will on you, but you can leave here today,
Mhm.
and you have taught your kids not to be respectful for somebody that can take to fill in your shoes.
Yes.
Here's the
I
thing.
disagree with that.
No, no,
I'm not
no.
teaching my son to be disrespectful to this man.
I'm not saying that.
I'm telling this man, I don't need you to take care of my child.
It's not needing, is what I'm saying to you. That's
It's
not
a
you.
choice.
When
It's
you
a
meet
decision.
somebody, here's the thing, you are not, that's why Brian says this all the time, I totally agree. It is meant for people to be with their kids, parents. And it is. Because things like this happens. So when you marry somebody, you're gonna be with somebody else outside of your ex-wife. You're gonna be with somebody else outside of agency. You're gonna be with somebody that you don't have kids by. And when you marry that woman, you're marrying her and her children.
True.
So you cannot expect for their dad to come in and say, I don't need you to, I can buy my kids shoes. First of all, that's material things.
Right.
There are so many things that the kids miss out on and not get in the household because you have taught them to not need somebody else but only you.
Right.
Respect.
And that's just not right.
But did you hear what I said when I said I'm a full-time father and I still pay child support? So it doesn't
But
matter.
that's-
But
Okay,
you ain't showing your kids that love.
But that's financial.
You're not
It's
showing
not
them what
about-
they're
it's
witnessing
not-
through the
Well,
day.
what you mean? How is that? When they live with me?
Listen, let me say this. Let
What
me
are you
share-
talking about? I don't
You
know.
can say that part.
What are you talking about? I'm a full-time
But are you
father.
showing
My
your
son
kids how to
lives with
love?
me.
Talking to Mike Bob.
Are you showing your kids how to love? Do you have a significant other that you're loving? That
I
you're
don't have
showing
to have a
them
significant
how
other
to
to show them how to
love?
love.
Hey, T, but let me say this. I think one, as a father, man, you know, first of all, you have to kind of trust the person, the mom that you with, to to really know that they're not gonna bring somebody around your children
Absolutely.
that doesn't mean good for them. As a stepfather, we say stepfather. I've adopted the baby, so they my son.
Right.
Kane, you never even knew that Jaden wasn't my son, right?
Bullshit.
Right, Kane?
I would call him Low Level. That's his name.
Yeah.
And the reason why I come to the mic, Kane,
I
and
don't
the
even
reason
know
why
I call him
when he
Low
come
Level.
when he come in the shop, Kane, and I'm on his ass.
Yeah. On his ass.
And I'm on his ass, and what I'm saying is you can't have me to love your son like he my own, but not let me whoop his ass when he in the wrong like he in my own. Because if in my own, but I think, Bun, it goes back to getting to know the person.
That's
Right.
I think if you got to know that guy that was at the stepfather, to know his morals and his
I don't
values,
give
you
a
might.
fuck about this, so at the end of the day, if my son do something and you whoop my son, me and you gonna have a motherfucking problem. At the end of the day, cause I'm active in my son's life. I'm active in my, I don't need, now, if I'm dead and gone, then do what you do.
So, Bun, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. What if? Let me ask you this. No, we're having a conversation.
Go ahead.
So if the mom tells me that it's all right to do that, the mom has custody of him,
Kind of physical custody, yeah.
and so there is.
I'm over that, bro.
What if you had a woman and she has children?
I was with a woman for 14 years and never laid hands on her dog.
But did
What's
you
your
do
name?
that?
I always told
She's a
her,
girl.
when your mama get home, I don't give a fuck.
I just
I don't
told
give
you
a
that.
fuck if it was a dude. I told that little boy, hey, listen,
Listen.
when your mama get home, I'm gonna tell your mama what you done.
That's right.
It's
That's right.
different with a
That's
girl.
right.
I'm not gonna lay my hands on that child.
It's with a girl.
And that's me. I don't give a fuck how y'all raised. But at the end of the day, if another nigga lay his hands on my kids, we got a
Let me just say
motherfucking
this,
problem.
Bun.
And I'm done with that
Let me just
conversation.
tell the camera this. If you date my daughter's mom, man, if you a man, if you touch my child, I'm gonna get you. And then my daughter's mom, I'm
Is
gonna
that a
get you.
shout out?
That's not, the girls are different.
That's absolutely.
Girls are
That's a shout out.
I'm
I'm
gonna get
gonna read the comments real quick, maybe I'll go back to that really quickly, but let's see. Latoya says, I'm in, coach. Tanya says, right, Shanetta. Tony says, see, respect goes a long way. Becky says, taking care of her is taking care of her kids too. Antonio says, Bun, sometimes you gotta ask your sons. Hold on, T, hold on for a second. Antonio says, talk to him, B. Kim says, how are you a full-time father at the show right now? She said, what are your kids doing now? You don't know. It's their daddy making their asses sit down somewhere. Plus, he watching you talk shit on here.
Amen. Amen. Hallelujah.
That's real.
That was some real shit. That's not our shit.
Lashonda says, okay, this dude is simple-minded. Kim
Period.
says, very and drunk. Bartender, no more drinks and pops. So let me just say this. All I'm saying to that, Bun, is that you have, first of all, you have to trust that your child's mother, they're not gonna have anybody around your kids that's gonna mistreat them. So you have to trust that they're going to make sure that your kids are in good hands. Let's just say that for the record. And everybody.
I don't know.
So,
if
I was
that's
gonna say,
right.
sometimes
I don't
women
know
don't
if
even know if
that's
they in good hands.
Well, that's true.
But
That's
I-
true.
but
What
I
I'm
would-
saying to
okay.
that is that, okay, so, as you know, I have children, Brian has children, whatever, but when it was like visitation with my ex-husband, first of all, those are my ex-husband, those are my kids' fathers. So I would just say, not have to take them Friday at 6 and get them Sunday at 6. I would say, okay, they're just taking this medicine, I'll see you Sunday at 6. I don't give provisions on, don't have them around such and such, don't take them, don't do that, because that's their father. So I have to trust that he's gonna have their best interest in
No
hand.
matter
So
what.
why the fuck am I gonna be telling him, don't let her comb their hair, don't let them, that's kid shit, because again, I have to trust that they're going to be in their hands. Well, let me just say this in discipline. So let me say this, and I will speak for our situation. When this happened, when he and I got together and we got married, at the beginning, his thing to me would be, the kid said such and such, the kid do such and such. I said, you're here, you're my husband, and at that time, you're their stepfather. You're gonna have to deal with that on your own. If not, the respect that you're gonna demand later on, you're never gonna get it. If every time they do and say some shit, you keep telling me, they're never gonna respect you. So was it difficult for him to do it? Absolutely it was. But then now it came to, okay, listen, sometimes like sit your ass down, I'm just like, because first of all, I know he has their best interest. He's not gonna do anything to hurt them. He's gonna make sure they're straight. So I can't allow him to pay basketball fees and take them to the game and buy them shoes and that shit. But then when it's time to get on their ass, I say you can't get on their ass. Like you cannot let them just have the good portion of it, but not, because here's the thing, positive attributes has to do with everything. And so that means if they're off the right track, you have to trust that they're gonna try to get your child back on track. It has nothing to do with them just being on some fuck shit. Now if you think a nigga on some fuck shit with your kids, that's one thing.
Okay, but that's a different, that's between your situation because y'all married. So
Well, yeah.
as far as your relationship, how would they go?
Well, in our relationship, I still made them respect him. So when he was at our home, we respect him. When we went to his
As far as
place,
discipline during a relationship.
it was the same thing.
I don't think it was any different because at the end of the day, I think she knew. So everybody, let me just go back. Everybody don't get that privilege if they don't earn that privilege.
Yes.
I think the father has to earn that privilege to be responsible enough to be discipline your kids.
Absolutely.
And that's why I told Bun, you kind of got to get to know the dude.
But when do they'll know?
Well, my
When
son.
they'll know that now is the time I can discipline your kids.
But see, Kane, that's the other thing. You kind of got to get to know. You got to know who's in the house with your
Right.
kids.
But when your kids don't like them, it's no arguing with that. Like, my son don't like.
So Bun, back in the day, neighbors used to whoop our ass.
So,
So you
We're
ain't
not
never
talking about back in the
So-
day. Okay, we talking about my son, Bun B son.
Okay.
Alright, I have my son in my house.
Right.
He's 15
Why don't you like him?
because he talks shit to him.
Why?
Because
He doing something I don't know he is.
at the end of the day, my son don't like it.
But see, Bun, you have to learn. You have to figure out why.
Okay.
That's the
I mean, I know why. I just don't want. I
But-
just don't want to put the shit out.
Okay, I get that.
Okay.
Sometimes
So
kids can
my
say
son,
things
hold
like
on.
that
My
just to
son
provoke
don't
the
like
parent. Please the
his
parent.
mama's new husband.
Just to please the father.
Now, he respects him because he's older than him. But my son rather say, Dad, I'd rather live with you than go over there and disrespect my
And you
mama's husband.
allow that.
Okay, cool. Well, I'd rather take care of my son and still pay child support every fucking Friday. Alright? My son live with me and I still pay child support every fucking Friday. No problem with that. But this is what I'm saying. Go back to the beginning. I don't, even with my ex-wife, my daughter's 15 and my other son is 16. I don't need no grown man coming in the house trying to discipline my kids.
And obviously
Like,
you're not
it's
gonna be
my
able to
fucking
change
job
that.
because I'm in their life.
That's how you feel.
And a lot of
When they go through
kids, they
something,
do to
they
please
call
the
me.
parent.
What do people say?
If the parents don't want
people
you
are
having a
saying,
stepdaddy,
people are saying, Bun not angry, he was passionate, man. Kimberly says, I bet he's an awesome father, I can tell for real. She said it takes a village, that's all I'm saying. She said because he listened to his daddy, so she said your son don't listen to his stepdaddy because he's listening to you. That's why.
amen, that is
She said
true.
that's why his son don't like the man.
Mhm.
And Becky says kids know how to manipulate parents.
Yes, they do. That is the truest point. They do.
That's kind of why I said you have to
That's
investigate.
it.
You have to ask enough questions. You have to know, get to know the stepfather. Now, I'm not saying get to know every Tom, Dick, and Harry that
Oh, for
comes.
sure.
But what I'm saying is when she goes to marry somebody, I think it's my job to want to know about this
Well, my
dude. If
kids
he's
don't be
living
around.
in the house with my children, I'm gonna want to get to know. I'm gonna take him out to eat. I'm gonna sit down and have some conversation about him, about where he and get to know him for myself. Because I might be cool with him disciplined if I know what type of dude he is.
Right, and that's vice versa. So when men get with other women and the baby mamas don't be liking the girlfriend, sit them down and have a conversation. Because what I do believe now is that if a child doesn't like if a girlfriend doesn't like the baby mama, it's gonna affect the child in some type of way. I want my mind at ease if I send my child with the father
Oh,
and he
absolutely.
has a girlfriend. If I know she hate me, ain't no telling what she will do
Right.
behind the daddy's back. Because again, the daddy trusts her.
Absolutely.
Have a conversation with these baby mamas and girlfriends. They always, why you gotta meet my girlfriend? It's out of respect.
Right.
You know, I don't want you. And clear that up. We don't want you.
I think that
is-
takes first of all, I think that
Mature.
takes a different type of woman. I think that women has to be over that person for that to happen. Some women still have some attachments and feelings and emotions, and so that's not an easy thing to do.
And it
like I
starts
said,
with the men not ghosting the women
so
so that they can
So
have
we are
those
said Becky. So
conversations.
Becky said kids know how to manipulate parents. Shonda Morel says, stop allowing Bun to speak. She said, every ounce of knowledge y'all are speaking to him is going over his head. He's not going to learn anything differently. Stephanie said, some kids can be very manipulative sometimes and don't want anybody saying that to them. Well, let me just say that.
What did Bun say to Lil Mama?
I don't know, because I can't see that. But
It said, fuck you, I believe what I believe in, and I'ma stand on that. Because at the end of the day, I believe in what I believe
Don't delete
in.
your comment. Delete that comment.
I believe in what I, no, I'm not, sis.
I'm gonna block you.
Well, that's fine, because I believe in what I believe in.
Here's the thing.
But you want to be able to have.
It's
to
an
have
open
that period.
forum, and
See,
that's
when
your
you're on
opinion.
here,
But I believe, okay, but if they said don't let Bun speak on what he believes,
That's
I
not
can
what
say,
she
well, fuck
said.
you
That's
then.
not what she said.
What?
She didn't say that.
What did she say?
She said-
Stop letting Bun read it.
Well, she just said it's going over your head. You're not.
It's not going over my head if that's what I believe in.
That's
If
so that's
if
what
you a
I'm saying.
Buddhist and
Yeah.
I'm a Christian, I'm not gonna downsize you because you believe in what you believe
What
in.
she's saying is.
So you can't downsize me for believing what I believe in.
That's what I'm saying.
So fuck
What
that.
I wanna say, but
Take me off the show.
it's only that if you allow that child.
Hold on,
Hold
Terra.
on, hold on.
TT.
I just want to say, Bun, when you're on here, we're opening ourselves up for criticism. So you kind of gotta be, you gotta kind of be open
Period.
for somebody to have an opinion that's different than what yours.
And I think if you had a conversation with your son, even a fake one, just about being respectful to the stepdad or the mama boyfriend, he would
Yeah.
feel different. He is doing what he needs to please you.
A lot of kids do that.
Kids do that
They do.
sometimes, but
And they
stand,
don't make it
at least you
out.
stand for what you
Absolutely.
believe. You believe it on both sides. Whether it's you with a woman and she has kids, you don't basically want to have nothing to do with them kids.
And you're gonna
You
one day
don't
fall
stay
in
in
love
your
with, you're gonna one day
position,
fall in love with
and
somebody
that's
that
vice
has
versa.
kids.
At least you
That you're
stand
gonna
on what you
marry
believe.
and be in a household with, that you're gonna want them kids to respect you. You're gonna one day have somebody that have kids, you're gonna marry them, and they're gonna be in your home, and you're gonna demand some respect for them. At that time, your kids may be grown, but you're gonna demand what you're now saying your kids don't have to give to somebody else. And you have to just kind of be open to that. You have to be open to. All I'm saying to that is it does not teach them. It teaches them, like the people said, it kind of teaches them manipulative behavior. And it teaches them that, first of all, you have to let your kid, I have the conversation with our kids all the time, they're not gonna always be here. So you have to have that conversation with your kids, like, listen, I'm not gonna always be here. I'm like, but you cannot run to your kids every beck and call every time they pick up the phone. You can be out of town doing a bond, you can be out and having a good time in
Out of town
Texas,
doing
Vegas.
a bond.
You're not gonna always be readily available, so you have to let your kids know there are other people outside of me that's gonna be here for you, be supportive to you, motivation to you, and all that. But so to say that they have to be depending on you because you're an active father, it's not going to teach them to be able to depend on other people that can love and care for them and provide for them more than just financial reasons. All I'm saying, but it's
Because
just
that goes back to kids not wanting to see anyone with their parents other than their parents.
that's
If you're not the mother and father, they don't want to see a stepmama, they don't want to see a stepdaddy, they just want their parents to come together and be together. Other than that, they're causing hell in both households, because they don't want to listen.
Yeah, so
It's about
let's see. Oh, where do we start? Yeah, so I think Stephanie read her. Some kids can be very manipulative sometimes and don't want anybody saying nothing to them. I guess LaShonda is responding to Vine saying, well, you need help, you do not need to raise children at all. Becky says, boo, I would hate to get in an argument with Bun, LOL. Kimberly says, Carol person scooped the camera off Bun and turned his mic off like he did to do in Heartbeat. So Temptations, Joy says, Joy and Nisha said they're just kind of enjoying the show. But,
And one thing that I can say in looking for a husband, waiting on a husband.
wait, okay.
If he does come, I'm expecting a positive male role model. If you're a drug dealer, don't see no history with me. Yeah, I like the money. I'ma fuck you. Okay? But I can't be with you because what are you teaching my child? I have a friend, my son, I'm a female and I have a son. And I'm not gonna lie, it is hard on me. Like, the little motherfucker keep jacking off me is just like, I wanna beat him. I don't wanna see it. I want a man to talk to him about those type of things. I bought him the Vaseline, but I can't even tell him what to do with it. I feel uncomfortable having that conversation
What was you
with
doing
my
at
son.
his age?
I had a baby at 15. He's just 13.
Okay.
I was at the skating rink probably hunching.
Okay, so you had a baby at 15, so that means you was fucking at what age?
No, I only had sex at one time and got pregnant and had a baby.
Okay, so
So it's different from
so what was you doing before 15? Was you playing with yourself?
No.
Or was you just that was your first time just?
That was my first time. I danced on boys, like at the skating rink, like dancing. Like,
Okay, so
I don't know. I tried
are
to go
you
back to
surprised
when
you
I was
started
young.
at 13?
I am.
You started at
surprised.
15.
Okay, but what am I supposed to do?
You
What
said
am I
it's
supposed
gonna take a
to
man to
tell
kind
them?
of help you.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for that father figure
Yeah.
Okay,
for
would-
my
would-
son.
would-
I can't. He got to rub.
Would you rather
He
would you
rub
rather
it
play
to
with
some
himself
rub
or
and
get a
burn.
girl pregnant?
I don't want neither one, but I think out of my 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy, I think he's going to be the first to make me a grandma, a Gigi, no grandma.
No, grandma, Gigi.
But I need a. When I am looking for a man to be my man, if I'm approaching a situation for this man to be my man, I'm asking certain type of questions.
What
Like,
kind of
I-
man
you
tell a
have to
young
be able
man
to-
about jacking off?
What's wrong with it?
Do it.
I said, what can a man tell?
Because every young man has done it is kind of what he's saying.
I mean, he got a rub and burn, which means he ain't using nothing. Or he doing something wrong. I don't know, because I'm not a man.
how you know
so-
you got a referee? You saw him? You saw him?
Yeah. And I took him to the doctor about it because I don't know who else to go to.
Just buy some lotion and some.
I bought the Vaseline,
Okay.
but I don't know how to tell
Listen,
him.
We
to
had
get- because it's almost like I have girls and I try not to do the double standard thing. That I'm okay with my son jacking off, but not my girls.
That's why you need to get yourself together and get you a man. Stop.
Oh my God.
So Dominique,
Tell
what do you
us
think about
about
it? What do you think about that? About discipline as it relates to your boys? Because you say you have 2 boys. So what do you think?
Like I said, it depends on the person. I know that man loves and respect me. I know he's gonna love and respect my kids, and he has their best interest at heart. But they do have an active father, and I'm all about their father meeting my significant other, and I let them have that conversation. But I'm okay if it's out of love, but I don't want to be just
Can I just say, let me just say this, not tell our children, we have very real conversations with our kids. Like, we're not on your private part, no,
Right.
we have real ass conversations with our kids. And I do that because that's kind of how my mom raised us. And so I have a father, biological father, but my stepfather was an amazing man. Like, nobody in our house he had no children in the house with us. And so far, it was just myself, and I have 2 older sisters and my mom. And my mom was a young mom, so he never touched any of us, none of that. And I say he was the perfect. When I say perfect, I have told my biological father in conversations with him, like, my dad is dead, because that man was just that. So a lot of times our kids get to miss out on people that can be good to them, good for them, because we're so caught up in it not being us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're so caught up in it, not being us, being that parent with the other parent, or
Being
I don't
real
want
daddy.
you, I don't want you to, that's just
The
your
extra
stepmom, or you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't understand. Kids get double the love, especially if you're an active parent. If you're an active parent and your past mates with somebody, they get double the love. They get double the pleasure. Yeah, so it takes nothing away from what they get, it actually adds to it. And so sometimes our kids can miss out on that because we get so center focused on, that's not your real dad, that's not your real mom, and so it puts the kids in a very bad situation. And so it's just
Me, for an example, my kid's father was engaged to someone, and my son would come home and be like, "Oh my gosh, she baked me a cake. We baked cupcakes." And I was like, "Really? Was it good?" I didn't say, "You ate that bitch cupcakes." You know what I'm saying? I was okay with that because I know that she was loving on them and she paid attention to him. I didn't want to take that away from him. I was pleased that she spent quality time with them when they're not in my presence. That let me know that woman loves them because she loved their dad.
absolutely.
And
But
I
if
was
she
okay
was
with
doing
that.
something that wasn't a
Yeah.
great thing, if she was disciplined, if she was punishing,
Well, she
if
disciplined. She disciplined them before, and it was, I just felt like we did have an issue once before, and she had a daughter. She had one child, and she would let her daughter hit on my son, and she didn't do anything about it. But then they said that my son couldn't get her back. So I did tell my son the next time she hit you, slap the shit out of her. And maybe I shouldn't have told him that, but I expressed to his father, I teach my boys not to hit girls, but if you guys are not gonna tell this little girl not to put her hands on my baby, then, I mean, whatever she gets, what she gets.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause I teach mine, he who hit you.
Well, you know, I will say, and as I tell my friend Bub, you just have to be open for different opinions. Just because we believe in it's all right to discipline, that may be something that he may never become.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This
Right,
podcast
that's
was
what I'm
meant to just give different perspectives.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make our way or his way
Mhm.
right or wrong.
That's true.
It's your way of thinking.
Can I say that it seems to be, which is, and you guys may agree or will ask your opinion, but it is much more harder on the woman being the step parent than it is the father.
Yes. Yes.
You know, for the women, it's, you know, we have to do more nurturing. We have to be a little bit over excessive in our caring. We have to really kind of overexert ourselves with our stepchildren and their parents to make them know that we're really there. Like, I cannot think of a time that, right now I've been married for 7 years, I cannot think of a time where I've actually disciplined neither of my bonus. I call my bonus because I still do. But I've never disciplined them at all. I don't think I've ever even told them no. Like, I've never just, I've always been yes, do, yes, because for a number of things, because I wanted them to approve of who I was. I wanted them to like and love me for that. So it is much more harder on the woman coming into that role than it is for the man. For the man, it almost seems like an automatic.
And maybe that if they were in the home with us, it would be a little different. If they were staying with us, I don't know that you could say if they were living with us that I've never disciplined because they would be there all the time rather than just coming on weekends and whatever. So, yeah, I agree it's much harder on women.
Mhm.
And that's why I go back to saying, you know, when you go to having blended families,
It's
a lot of
hard.
times they
It's
don't
hard.
blend perfect.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Mhm.
But I can say in Bun's defense, his kids, I've met his kids and they've come over, they're well-mannered children. And his, one son, he came over and he was just like, you know, I could tell that Bun is on them and he wouldn't, it's like, I'm like, oh, relax, you can do whatever you want to do, you know, just chill, we chilling. He was like, okay, so I know that he's not teaching his kids, don't respect their step parents or your mama's husband, because he's a great father. I can say that about him. He's a really good father and he has well-mannered children and loving kids, very loving children.
So let me just say this. It doesn't negate. So I don't want anybody to think Andrew believes. Anybody watching the podcast, if they're watching the future. It doesn't negate on who he is as a man, as a father.
Exactly.
It's just his beliefs, what he believes. And so, again, our podcast is just for the reason that it's for, which is just for kind of open dialogue. So we're not in any, I don't think anybody is saying or anybody believes. I have in personal conversations have commended him for the things he does as a father and as a man. So that doesn't take what we feel, what he thinks doesn't take away who he is. It's just you want people to be more open and honest, because let me just say this, and I tell our children this all the time. My mom would tell us growing up, my mom was a young mother, but she would tell my sisters and I growing up, like, I ain't gonna always be here, I'm not gonna always be here. And so we depended on her for so much, because we grew up, she was young, so we grew up with her. So she would just kind of say all the time, I need y'all to know how to do this, I want you to know how to do that, because I'm not gonna always be here. And so losing her made me see, okay, she's not gonna be here. So those things that she really kind of put into us saying I'm not gonna be here are the things that made kind of factor into who I am today. So that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying to Bun is that be open to there being a village of people to be around your kids to kind of help in their upbringing of who they are. It doesn't take away from you being an active parent. You are committed as a young black man to be an active parent, especially a full-time dad. But just be open to, you may not always be there. And so you want to be open to people outside of just their parents being there for them. And then double the love, double the standard, because it means a lot that I can get something from you that I may not get from somebody else. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not, which they're not, but if my children, my biological children, if they have to go with their dad, they're not, but their dad, I would hope that somebody would love them the way I have love for my bonus kids. It doesn't always happen, but that's what you wish for. So who doesn't want to wish for somebody, for your mate to give, especially if you're not in the household. Who doesn't want to wish for their mate to be with somebody that's going to love my kids the way that I love them? So that's kind of everybody's wish when you have kids outside of the house also.
All right, real quick, is there anything that you guys want to talk about? Any questions that you need?
Yes,
some
T
answers
wanted me to ask downstairs. T said that she wanted me to ask, and I'm going to ask this for everybody that's single on the panel. You guys are single, so I want you told us what you wanted to look for in a mate and what you want to your characteristics. So we want to know, what are your flaws? What's preventing you? What is it about you that's preventing you from being in a relationship?
Communication is key, but I have a hard time communicating. Like, I feel like my actions speak. I mean, my actions do a lot of the talking.
Especially on sex.
Especially on what?
Sex.
I can't hear you.
Especially on sex. Your actions.
But yeah,
You show them.
right, actions, right. So if I
Show
blow that,
them.
What's that?
What they mean?
if I blow it, then it's, that's that full throttle. I'm back on full throttle. But yeah,
Communication.
Okay, boy.
Lack of communication.
Now,
What's your flaws?
I'm a Taurus, so I'm kind of stubborn. I'm not gonna say I'm very open and loving in the beginning, but when you bullshit me, I shut down. That's my flaw. I shut down. I kind of block you out, and then all the bullshit you talk about. And we probably could potentially work on it, but with me being so stubborn, it's like I don't really shit you have to say.
Really?
I try to work on it. I'm violent.
no shit, no bullshit.
Very violent.
You're violent
I know.
in relationships as well?
We making this. It's not a natural.
Like what type of violence? Like physically, mentally? Just, do you have like violent
Physical,
rages?
physical. I can answer that. Physical.
Physical.
That's all she been talking about.
That's
Busting
the
somebody.
windows
I do not. And again, I cannot. Another flaw is that I cannot take some of what I dish out.
Okay. That's
Being that, just like being violent, I cannot take a man hitting me or putting his hands on me. If you mad at me, you better fuck me like you mad, but don't put your hands on me.
But you
any
gonna hit
other
him.
time.
Yes, you gonna hit him.
But I will hit you now. You have to just take the lead. And again, this is a conversation I have
you
with
don't
my
look in the
friends.
mirror and ask, why are you single?
Yes. No. I don't ask that question
No,
because I know.
wait, what? You
No,
said
because
yes,
I
you
know
said
why I'm
no.
single. I'm
Did
single
you hear
because
my
I'm
question?
violent. I'm single because when I'm dating a person, I
Run
become
that person off.
I become
I can't hear you, boss.
completely submissive where I forget about myself. I start working for us instead of me. If I'm focused on you and us and you're not focused on me, then I'm losing. At the end of my relationships, for the most part, I feel devalued. And that's not gonna happen anymore.
So you gotta find a balance.
At the end of your
I-
relationship, you feel devalued? Is it
Yes,
when it's
because
almost
I've
over?
been invested so much time, so much effort. I can see the change in you when I'm finished with you, and the only change I can see in me is devalued than when you even got me.
So what about you, Bun?
Okay.
I can't hear you.
I think my only flaw is that I love.
You love hard.
It's hard for me to let go of somebody. So like, if I'm with this person and we don't go together no more and we broke up, it's so hard for me to let this person go. I could meet somebody else, but it's still so hard for me. Like, I can't let go. When I love, I love. I can't let go unless they leave me. You see what I'm saying? That's why I haven't been in so many committed relationships. It's so hard for me to let go. Like, they gotta let go of me.
So if
It's
you
hard
let go of
for me.
them, you still love them.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Back
still
to
something
back,
that.
back to that gentleman part, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
it's
See what
hard
I'm
to
saying?
say that I don't wanna be with you, I wanna put you in a frame.
Right, so
It's
hard,
hard, it's hard saying.
so this is the thing about why my relationships bomb so bad, and I'm talking about this is with my first son's mother. Even when I met my wife, it was so hard for me to let my first son mom go to either be with my wife because I didn't want to let her go because this was my baby mama. She's having my first son. I still love her. We might could make it work, but I got a hell of a good woman right here. But she weathered through the storm.
Right.
And when I finally, when she actually let me go, I ended up marrying this woman that became my wife. You see what I'm saying? And then that happened with my next relationship 8 years later. You see what I'm saying? And then 14 years later after that, I ran into another woman that I fell in love with, but I couldn't let the 14 years go.
So
You
then
see
it's like
what I'm
14
saying? So I feel
years.
like once I'm with somebody, I'm with that person. And I
It
can
takes for
love
them,
them.
so you're saying it takes for somebody to leave you alone for you to let go.
But let me
If
ask
they
you a
don't
question
leave, if
too.
they don't leave you alone, you're never gonna let go.
I'm not gonna, yes. Correct.
So do you still remain friends with your exes?
No, now when I can't really say exes because
They're your family.
well, yeah, because the last two was my baby mama. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I just
Besides,
want to say one thing
right,
is
so I
that
can't-
the more time you spend with a person who you love, once you love, I agree, it does not go away.
That's true.
It does put it on pause, the distance in between you, but when you get back together, if you love them, you will always love them. If you keep bonding with exes and old friendships, you're maturing that love, you're growing that love for that person the more time you spend with them, the more you communicate
So
with
when I
them.
have a question, so how do you, if it's for them to leave you alone it's for them to leave you alone for you to kind of let go, what happens is it just lingering feelings and lingering emotions until that
I
happens?
mean, okay, so like, I'm finna be 40 in a couple months. So I realized in my journey of living, of things to do, and a lot of times is going to a person and being straightforward with the person,
Yeah.
saying, hey, listen.
Yeah.
And this is something that you taught me, sis, that bond, you're not gonna never just kill that until you go to it and kill it. Like, hey, listen, I love you, but it's never gonna work between me and you.
Yeah.
To be straightforward with that person. Now, that was something that I learned from you, sis, to be straightforward with this person. Like, listen, I love you, but it ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just deal with that situation then to deal with it saying, hey, I fell in love with another motherfucking woman, and now you snappy with me, I'm snappy with you, now we got an attitude, but
Yeah.
sometimes not going by what you saying and going about how I feel lead to just a bunch of bullshit. But just to be straightforward with a woman, say, listen, I love you, but the shit just didn't work. We just couldn't get on the same page together. I just think it's better for us to just go our separate ways.
Yeah.
That's hard for a man.
Okay.
It is hard for a man to say that.
Okay, so I have
Especially when they
question.
still love.
One final question for
Have
you.
we finished that question before we move on?
Is this
Hold
closed?
on a second. Go ahead.
Is this closed was
Hold
the
on,
first
before
one.
y'all answer that she asked, hold on. So, Becky said she's going through the same thing with her son. Kiana says, she said, what he said, let's see, Shay says, so you still emotionally attached. Vicky says, what's everybody's sign? Babe, what's your sign?
Aquarius.
Taurus.
Virgo.
Team Taurus, baby.
Cancer.
So,
Okay. Let's see. Kimberly says, I knew Bun was being bitter about talking about him needing niggas take care of his kids. This was a touchy subject for Bun, I could tell. She said, Bun, just let go of those kids and enjoy life. Monica said, so he's a hoarder. Sean says, having closure definitely helps you go forward, but hurt people. That's some true ass shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Hurt people. That's
That's
what
what I'm
you're
saying.
Yeah, so, what was your question?
Dominique was getting ready to reply to something before we
Oh.
move the mic.
Yeah,
What
well-
were you saying,
Well, this is my thing. You know, for you say you let go of your ex, y'all agree. I don't know what happened to let go. But how many times do you agree to let a person go? How many times do you let a person keep walking back in and out of your life and ruining your life?
Grandma used to always say, you're not sick and tired until you're tired of being sick and tired.
That's true. I'm tired of being sick and
So when you get to that point, where you like,
Are
you
you
know
at
what,
that
I'm
point?
tired. Yeah, I mean, I got to that point.
You got to put the mic in front of you.
I got to that point. You know, in the beginning, I wasn't at that point. I was tired, but I wasn't tired of being sick and tired. And once you get to a point that you're tired of being sick and tired. Like I'm tired of being tired. You know, I gotta let it go. No matter how much you love somebody, if you at that point, like, I mean, let them
Sometimes
go.
you have to love them enough to let them
Yeah,
go.
let them go, let them live.
Absolutely.
And the only way you can live is to let them live and to let them go and not be bitter about the situation. Like to see them out, able and have no strange feelings about this person and just continue to live your life.
But it takes closure for that.
Yeah, I mean, either it takes closure or time because a lot of times you don't get closure out of a relationship. Sometimes it takes time. I learned that from my partner and his wife. But sometimes you don't get no fucking closure. You don't get to understand the why. Why this happened? Why this went this way? Why this like? Okay, I never got closure why my twin brother died. It just takes time for me to deal with
Did you make up your own conclusion or what?
No, I let God let me deal with that.
That's
It ain't got
for
nothing
his
to do with me.
understanding.
It ain't got nothing.
Alright.
Some things we'll never understand. We just have to let God just heal that wound. So the same thing in relationships. Sometimes we don't get closure in a relationship. And it took me 4 years to let a woman go. It took me 4 years to actually let a woman go. To get no closure behind it, but to say,
I'm done. I'm tired.
I'm good. I'm good now.
How did you feel after?
I'm good. Oh, what? Shit, I'm good.
And that is exactly what he's saying. That he said that we've had some very extensive conversations, and that was my conversation with him. Is that I always ask people. There are so many people that ask for advice, and I don't mind talking and sharing. And it's just that. Just make sure before you open up your heart and your mind to something or somebody else, you gain some type of closure. Because if not, now you've opened up a chapter that you hadn't even closed the previous chapter. And so now you have somebody else involved you have an innocent party involved in a situation that they didn't even have to be involved in. So, and we all fall guilty of that, so let's not act like we all haven't done it. We've all done it at some point with something and someone, but that is kind of the focal point. Just make sure that you have that and clarification and conversation. Communication, clarification, conversation, rules the nation, like, for sure.
So it's 2 hours. Was this healthy?
Absolutely.
Was this
Everybody
good?
enjoyed it. It was good.
Good time.
Good little thing here.
So before we close out, one more time, give your social media handles. If somebody wants to get in contact with you, inbox you, whatever, give your social media handles. We'll start with Kane.
Except, y'all, I'm trying to go to Kane on Sarah because he be getting my husband cut and he be looking fine.
Stand in the plumber, baby. Stand in the plumber.
First, man, let me give it up, man. Long live Lord, man. Rest
Oh,
in
for
peace,
sure,
Lord,
for
man.
sure.
That's my guy,
Yeah.
that's my bro, man. I just had to shout him out, man.
Absolutely.
You can
Yes.
find me on Facebook, man, Eddie Kane, Instagram, Kane the Barber, 501-766-7558, Eddie Kane.
Daddy Kane.
Dumb.
You can find me on Facebook, Dominique Smith, and Instagram, just the one.
Terra on Facebook. Juicy Queen Styles, because I am that juicy queen that you
Juicy.
have.
Listen,
All right,
T's in
bye.
high demand.
It's your boy Bon B, the comedian. Bon B the Bell Bonds, Bon B the Truth, and Bon B the Press, man. Y'all follow me on all social media. Y'all need to get out of jail. If you need license to carry a concealed gun,
Wrap it
Your
up.
boy.
which you may need, you can come take my class starting the 1st of next month. I am starting signing up people that want to get their concealed gun carry license. Go take my class. If you need a place to live, I have a couple duplexes for rent right now at the present moment. If you got a loved one in jail, give me a call. Look me up. Send me a text.
And so I got me a Jamaican. You gotta go.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to bum me out of jail before I need you
No,
to do anything.
no.
So that's we're friends after this.
All right, so you
Right.
get a podcast on any podcast source. All you have to do is search for Love Wins by the Stewarts. The video will live on Brian Stewart Sr. And please subscribe. Please Terra, don't walk out yet. I done got to use bathroom. Kane got to use bathroom too.
No
So
bullshit.
please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button so you can get notifications when we have the episodes. And just this Friday night, Empire, the versus battle. Haywood King was versing Steven Spud Howard,
Yeah.
and
See, Monica?
yeah, we
Shout out to the camera lady.
Tell her you
Yes.
can that.
Shout out to that girl Monica. Yeah, get your tickets at
Come on,
Empire Little Rock
Get
spelled
it,
out.
get it.
Yeah, Empire Little Rock spelled out .eventbrite.com. Or hit if you want to be on the show. Inbox my wife or myself, or send us an email to.
Sewer.level@gmail.com.
That's a wrap. Thank y'all for participating and
Thank you.
giving us 2
Thank you
weeks
guys
of
for
your life.
watching. Those that watching, thank you guys so much for participating and watching the show. We appreciate all your questions, concerns, whatever. So thank you guys so much. You guys have a good night.
It's a wrap.